Hey, welcome back to Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Presented by Central Bank of the Ozarks, Labor's Local 663, Shelter Insurance Agents, Grant Baker in Aurora, Sean Holman in Lockwood, and across the state of Missouri. Also presented by Great Southern Bank, Doak Propane, the Bank of Bolivar, and as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us, take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. Well, it's a privilege to welcome to the show CBC Cadets head coach, Justin Tatum. And Coach, thanks so much for your time today.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate being here.
You guys 14-6 on the season, 14-5 finish a year ago. You take away those first 3 games where you played probably the ACC of high school basketball in the country. You guys are 14-3 since that point. What are you doing really well right now?
I think we're trying to find our continuity. Our seniors are starting to lead us a little bit. It's really starting in practice, and it's starting to show in the games a little bit. And I just know that we have abundance of talent here, and we just trying to find ways to put it together and accept each other's role. And it's taking some of those ACC beatings and normal regular season games here to start trying to get our egos in check. And I think we're starting to put it together a little bit.
This is your 9th year there at CBC. You won a state championship in 2014. You also have a state championship with Soldan, I believe, back in 2012. Just tell us about the history there of most folks are going to recognize the name. You're a CBC grad, a SLU grad. Kind of take us through that full circle to get back to CBC, your alma mater.
Well, I started coaching at Soldan in 07. Actually, when I came back from overseas playing, I was a assistant coach here at CBC with Bob McCormick, who's now at Priory, for a year. And then after that year, I went to take the head coaching job at Soldan, where I had 6 years there. 3 we was able to play in the Final Four and win a state championship. And just had a great experience with those guys. And I finished up in 2013, where I was able to be blessed to come coach my alma mater when it opened on up. And I was successful. We were successful enough to, win a state championship our first year because those guys were determined to, get back into their competition and get to that level. And I was blessed to help them get there. And, from then on, I had abundance of talent, but I had to go through 3 years of my own son, who's now playing at the Boston Celtics, and able to get back there to the state title. And then you had to go through Webster for 2 years. And then, our conference and our class is just a juggernaut every year. So it's, and the Kansas City teams are doing well. So it's, it's blessed to get a chance to be talking in the contents of getting back up there a state title or contend for it.
As you look at the kind of the power in high school basketball, especially on the men's side, for years it's resonated right there in St. Louis. You mentioned the Chaminades, the CBCs, the Soldans. What makes it so difficult up there to get out of those districts? You're in a brutal district.
Yeah, we're in a brutal, and then sometimes, like you said, our MCC conference, and I might see these guys 3 times a year. Last couple of years, I've seen Chaminade and DeSmet at least 3 times, and 2 in the regular season and 1 in district championship. It's tough for us to get out, just similar like some of the other towns and cities. They pile all of us in one district, or we have to face each other to get out of to make it up to the state. It's a good thing and a bad thing. You can have a really good program, but then somebody else can too, and you got to face them to even get to sectionals or quarterfinals. So it's tough, man. Everything got to be laid in place, but it's fun as well because it's a good experience for all the kids in the schools as well.
You just look at your remaining schedule. You're at Vianney tonight, I believe. Then you got DeSmet, SLU, Chaminade, and Father Tolton. And that's heading into districts, and that's a juggernaut. That's kind of finishing the season like you started it.
It is, and it is. It's kind of what we want, but I'm kind of happy that I don't have to see none of those teams in districts or on my way. If we blessed enough to see Chaminade in the quarterfinals, we'll be lucky enough to see that. But after that, it's done. The MCC, like I said, the conference playing them twice a year. They know our players' first and last name and what they eat for lunch, and vice versa. And so, going against those guys is anything can happen. You kind of see what Vianney beat, escaped DeSmet last week. I was hoping that they didn't do the same thing with me this past Wednesday, and either tonight. So everybody's well coached, and it's just a tough league, and it's a tough way to get out of here if you want to try to win a state championship.
Tell us a little bit about your team. When they come out to watch CBC, who are some of the players that are contributing? What type of game? What style do you like to play?
Well, the style I like to play is like, we're defensive minded first, second, and third. And then I allow them to, explore themselves on the offensive end as long as they know the spacing and the structure and things that we like to teach. But the defensive end is where we thrive at, because we have so many multiple guys that can hopefully guard and react how they're supposed to and create what they need to create on the offensive end. But some of my players are, I'm senior heavy, and this senior class has played in a state championship game, made it to the Final Four, and last year lost in the district championship to Chaminade on the buzzer beater. So they have had a ton of experience, and they know where they want to get to. So like Robert Martin is my point guard. He's most probably electrifying guy right now, 5'11", just a machine. He's just a dribbling, scoring, finding, passing, great kid. His leadership skills is shooting through the roof, and he's a really good asset for us. And then we go to Larry Hughes, is a 6'5", swing man, 3-and-D type guy who has had a couple injuries doing early on off. But right now he is just starting to put a couple good games together and really flowing. A mid-major, high-level kid. And we have I'm starting 2 football state championship kids, Justice Johnson and Kendall Houston, who bring that mentality and that toughness, understands their role, and just sets the tone for us. And then we start our 7-2 guy, John Bowe, who is our first year here, sophomore, very energetic, a defensive-minded guy there, and a ton of offensive ability, and just still learning how to play because he's only been playing for 3 years, and this is his first year in the States. And then we have another senior, Mikhail Abdul Hamid, who's a 6'5" shooter who stretches the floor for us, does multiple things. Another kid who's going to be able to play at the next level. And Eric Holmes is a 6'8" kid who bikes up John. Or when we play bigger teams like the ACC teams, we had to play them guys. We had to play them guys together. So, like I said, I'm pretty senior heavy, and my young guys is going to be really good. Anthony Gauss, who is a 6'2" point guard, who plays for Michael Porter Jr. Then I have Nas Binion, who's 6'4", plays Mocan Elite in the summertime. And like those guys are anxiously, patiently, eagerly waiting their turn to do what the seniors are doing now, but they're learning at a good pace. And when we do call up on them, need them, they help us out. So I have I've named probably 8 or 9 kids, and those are the kids that I'm trying to get those egos, which are good, but just to understand to sacrifice everything for the team to help us win games.
Again, we're visiting with CBC Cadet head coach Justin Tatum, and Coach, kind of tell us a little bit about your coaching style. Who do you feel like you kind of took a lot of stuff from? You played for Lorenzo Lomar there at SLU. You played at CBC. You were an assistant coach.
Yep.
Who's kind of molded you and into your coaching performances?
It was probably early on off of Charlie Spoonhour when I first got there. I kind of got his demeanor as far as like a relationship build, want to be straightforward with a kid. Well, straightforward with a kid and let them know what we need out of them, and then go to my office and sit down and have a snack. Hopefully he figures it out. But Charlie was somebody I really admire, and then I was able to get coached by Lorenzo Romar, who brought a different hands-on player coach type thing. He'll play pickup with us or shoot some threes with us and things like that. So I was able to, have both of those guys to inspire me a little bit. But as far as when I went overseas and started playing, and I never knew I was going to get into coaching until I went overseas and started playing a little bit. We had off time to where I was helping coaching little leagues over there, and I kind of got into it a little bit because I had time to kill, and then I was youthful and exciting and things like that. So when I was able to when I came back home, I said, hey, I need to figure something out to do a little bit, and coaching started to do it. And I also when I started getting into coaching here, I started to learn from college coaches like Shaka Smart, the way his energy level was at VCU, and how he got his players to play for him, and then like the Bill Self, how he dominates with the big man, and his certain styles of play and stuff like that. So it was a lot of different things I take from coaches. And right now at this level, at this time in my career, I watch a lot of clearly the Celtics games, and Brad Stevens has taught me a lot about his patience and his X's and O's. So I steal something from everybody, just try to make it my own, and try to relate that to my players.
If the 2022 Justin Tatum could go back to 2000 and give that Justin Tatum some advice, what would you give yourself advice 22 years ago? What advice would be?
Leave these damn referees alone. That'll be one of the main things. Leave them alone. There ain't nothing you can change about them. But besides that, just the patience and the understanding, and just the vision that I will have and stick with my vision and not, take me so many side roads to get there and stay focused. And that was probably what I'll tell the 22 years from now. I would have told the young Justin.
Well, Coach, we certainly appreciate you being part of the Missouri Sports Network. We hope to do this again as we get closer to
Yes, sir.
Districts and state. And I know you guys have got a run in you. And have you seeded for districts yet?
No, we see it next Wednesday. And they changed the districts as far as they adding teams. So they took out the sectionals, which I'm a fan of a little bit because that extra sectional, the extra quarterfinal game was kind of unnecessary. So we have a lot of teams in our district, and this is the first time I don't have another private school. So this is amazing to me.
Yeah, you've got Eureka, Kirkwood, Lafayette, Marquette, the Parkways, and Waynesville making their way down there.
Yeah, this is all new. So, I mean, we never really faced each other ever, as far as since I've been here in my tenure. So this will be kind of interesting to get a chance to play against some of those schools.
Well, very, very good. Well, Coach Tatum, as always, we appreciate you being generous with your time and look forward to our next visit.
Thank you, guy. I appreciate you, man.
You bet.
All right. Take care.
CBC Cadet head coach Justin Tatum, and we'll be right back here on the Missouri Sports Network.